All right, bro. So I'm convinced that at least a fourth of this country, hopefully less, are brainwashed, right? They are delusional, right? And this right here is peak delusion. What is going on with this so-called voting rights stuff on the Democrats, bro? I've never seen such coordinated brainwashing a day in my life, right? I mean, this is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane how the Democrat Party has convinced a significant amount of people in this country that their votes are being suppressed. Okay, it is a flat-out conspiracy theory that they literally have zero evidence to support. They cannot name you one person whose vote has been suppressed because of any GOP voting law, right? They can't name you one person. They can't give you a statistic. They can't give you any numbers. They can't give you nothing, right? Because most of the studies, overwhelming amount of data suggests that the GOP voting laws do not suppress the vote. And if they do, it's a very small amount, like 1 to 3% at most, okay? But despite that, they have convinced people in this country that for whatever reason, their votes are being suppressed. Blacks can't vote. You're too dumb to get an ID, right? I just find it incredible. And here's the thing. Does anybody believe that if/when Biden loses, right, in 2024, or even before that, in the midterms in 2022, Democrats lose the House and the Senate, you think these people are going to go quietly into the night, right? You think they're just going to accept the results and move on, considering how they're convinced? They're 100% convinced that it's because their votes are being suppressed, that democracy is under attack, that the GOP is going after black voters. You think these people are just going to, again, walk away from it peacefully? I don't think so, man, because a lot of these people have been pushed to the point of delusion, okay?
Old, starving, it's the hunger pains, the mental fog. I mean, that's nothing compared to losing our democracy. Day 2 is, it's still the beginning day, so more of the hunger is starting, but it's still so early, so the morale is still really high. Day 2, I'm feeling very tired and cold and hungry, obviously, but committed to being here. I am having trouble sleeping because of the lack of nutrients and just really bad headaches. It's happened to me last time too. We did have one person who has to get checked out by the doctor earlier than we expected. Normally we do vitals twice a day. Someone was just feeling really lightheaded, and that is not a good sign. It's one of the things we look for when folks are potentially risking longer term health consequences. So we hope that person is okay. The rest of the folks have been all right. Yesterday was definitely disappointing, and I do think we're feeling disheartened, and like our sacrifice not eating for 15 days last time wasn't enough. What is it going to take this time for our senators to take our moral plea seriously? There's really no excuse for a senator not supporting those things, whether it be Sinema or any of the senators. It's frustrating, but at the same time, this is just this is part of the fight. I mean, I did 6 days last time. I'm willing to do more. We're disheartened, but we're committed, and we will stay on this hunger strike until the bill passes.
Yeah, those people that are basically starving themselves for a bill that will probably never pass are delusional, right? They're literally dying for the right to vote, okay? I mean, it's not even funny. I shouldn't even laugh. But I'm just saying, this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. That is delusion. And this right here, these women that we're going to talk about are delusional, right? They go through peak delusion. And the first woman we talk about here is Miss LaTosha Brown, who is the founder of Black Voters Matter, right? And she's in Arizona marching, okay? Like this is some civil rights issue. It's not, okay? To try to convince Kyrsten Sinema that, hey, you need to repeal the filibuster in order to pass the Democrats' Freedom to Vote Act, right? Again, it's amazing what they name these bills, okay? Now, here's the thing. Kyrsten Sinema says she supports the voting rights legislation. However, she doesn't want to repeal the filibuster in order to get it done, okay? I don't think she's going to budge, but let's see how these people attempt to convince her to budge.
I am hoping that we actually get this done this week. We want to get it done this week because every day we let go by is every day we're seeing our communities be attacked and we're seeing the vote marginalized. We have to recognize the critical nature. And the bottom line is this isn't a partisan issue. This is a democracy issue. This is around how people, when you vote for a candidate or you vote for a party, however you vote, you can't be attacked, right, based on who you voted or how you voted for. That completely undergirds democracy. That's the definition of political corruption. election. So we're saying that we got to move with a sense of urgency, that democracy in this country is under attack. So we want to see this happen immediately.
Okay, even if I give you, let's say I give you that the GOP, their intent, right? Their intent is to suppress the vote. Even if I give you that, right? What proof do you have that it actually works? Right? What proof do you have that it actually works? You have to have some proof, because how else do you get people to march in the street for this, right? They're literally marching, guys, for legislation that is going to basically empower people or make it easier for people to vote Democrat, right? That's what they're marching for. They're not marching for any civil rights because they can already vote. What they're really marching for is for legislation that essentially is going to federalize our elections, give Democrats more control over how red states can run their elections, because Democrats don't give a damn about their strict voter laws in New York, right? Or the lack of mail-in ballots in other states, strict voting laws in Delaware. They don't care about that. They never complain about that, even though laws in their states are somewhat more restrictive, right, than the GOP states. They only care about GOP states. I'm gonna tell you, this has convinced so many people. They're so delusional, bro. Like, people really think that this is like a civil rights issue. It blows my mind. Okay, it blows my mind. This person right here pointed out that nearly 86% of black voters and 67% of Latino voters voted for Sinema in 2018. Again, the GOP has been passing these laws for years. If that's the case, then how the hell did so many black people vote? Right? I don't understand. Again, even if you give them the argument that, hey, the GOP's trying to suppress black people from voting. Okay, does it work? Right? Does it actually work? That's the next step. So, out of the same side of her mouth, right, this person is going to say, hey, our right to vote is under attack. We can't vote, blah, blah, this is a civil rights issue. And then she's going to tell you in this interview about how black people say to Democrats last year.
Not only the presidential election, but people may recall we had the U.S. Senate race. And immediately we had to go into really doing work around voter suppression and trying to beat back voter suppression.
Wait, so how did you beat voter suppression then, right? How did that happen then, okay? Was it just magically that, people showed up to the polls, right? They did what was required for them to do to actually vote? Is that how you beat the so-called voter suppression, right? To them, voter suppression, in their opinion, is any rules or regulations that are in place for election integrity, right? That is voter suppression in their opinion, right? An ID is voter suppression. Not allowing mail-in voting is voter suppression. Or even, here's the thing, allowing it, but, regulating drop boxes, right? And security. That's all voter suppression to them, okay? But only in red states. It doesn't count when blue states do this stuff. That doesn't count.
And so what we wanted to do on yesterday, it was not our intention to be combative or be antagonistic to the president. Matter of fact, we're the ones that helped put him in office.
Again, how did you put him in office if your vote has been suppressed? I don't understand.
We want him to succeed. We want his agenda to move forward. But
why? Right? Why do you want his voting agenda to move forward? Because he ain't gonna do nothing for you. He ain't gonna do nothing for you. Democrats wouldn't even pass the police reform bill with Tim Scott. The only thing that this so-called Freedom to Vote Act does, again, is federalize the election so Democrats have more control over what red states can do. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Also know how critical it is for us to have voting rights legislation. What we were saying and continue to say is that it is time out for talk. That at this point, the voters that showed up in record numbers.
Again, how? How did they show up in record numbers if the votes are being suppressed? She has not explained it. Because the GOP has been passing these laws for years, guys. But for whatever reason, there was a record number of people that voted this year, even though these laws are so restrictive. The conspiracy theory, again, it doesn't even make sense, like with basic logic. I don't know how they get away with it. I really don't.
And not only delivered the road to the White House and the White House, but we also delivered 2 U.S. senators. And that was a colossal feat in a state like Georgia, that here it is that we are being punished, right, because we participated in the last election. And so, which actually essentially gave the Democratic Party more power, but now we have less power. We're saying that no, it is incumbent upon you and that we are holding you accountable to get it done. That just like we delivered, we have an expectation that this administration, that this Congress will deliver for the voters of Georgia and the voters of this nation, because we believe that there are implications that are far, far greater and deeper than just a bill. This isn't just just about one bill. We're talking about a fundamental structural protection mechanism that is needed to protect the rights of voters.
Okay, but again, she just told you how people showed up in record numbers to vote, right? Again, these people, they don't even know what they're talking about. Okay, they don't even realize like the flaw in the logic that they're using here. But if there's one woman out here that's more delusional than that past woman, it's Nina Turner, who the Democrats allegedly stiffed out of her getting a seat in Congress when she ran for some district seat in Ohio. Okay, progressives said that basically the Democrats cheated her out of winning that seat. That's what the progressives said. Okay, with no evidence, but that's what they said, right? So she comes up here and she capes for the Democrats and suggests that Biden can basically primary Kyrsten Sinema or Joe Manchin in order to force them to repeal the filibuster. Let's listen to this lunacy.
He better not utter not one quote from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., not one, or any of his colleagues and contemporaries as we come up on his birthday on Saturday and the national celebration on Monday. These people are cowards. They are soulless cowards to hold up a daggone rule. Filibuster is a rule. It's not written in the Constitution. It's not a right. It is a rule. And they're standing in the way of it. So this is...
Okay, so I'm going to tell you something. I wonder how she thought about this. If the Democrats pass their voting right legislation and the GOP wins the House and the Senate in 2022, without the filibuster, the GOP can just repeal it. Right? I mean, that's literally what they can do. They can just be like, okay, we're just going to repeal it. Again.
This is nonsense. They worried about what the Republicans going to do. Let's take care of 2022. Let's do what Democrats can do right now. They have the power. And my message to President Biden, now he done wasted a whole bunch of time with these folks, being diplomatic, inviting them out to the White House and to time out for it. He needs to hold a press conference, let them know. Either you're going to be by my side saying you're going to be with me and getting rid of the filibuster, or I'm gassing up the jet on your behind, and I will be in Arizona and West Virginia directly and let the American people know who's standing in the way of my entire agenda, not just voting rights. So President Biden, gas up the jet and cancel student debt.
Wow, incredible. Again, delusion, right? This person really believes that Biden, with a 33% approval rating, can primary Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema. Now, when it comes to Joe Manchin, that's not a snowball's chance in hell that Joe Biden can primary Joe Manchin. It just can't happen, right? Joe Manchin has twice the approval rating in West Virginia because he's holding up Biden's agenda than Biden does, okay? So you can't primary him out of there. So what you're saying doesn't even make sense. It makes no sense. He can't do it, right? He can't do it, okay? Now, when it comes to Arizona, that's a little bit of a different story because allegedly, right, from what I can find, Kyrsten Sinema is hurting in Arizona, right? And, hey, but it's not like Biden's approval rating is high in Arizona either, okay? I think his approval rating is like around 40-some%. I know it's 55% disapproval. So, again, it's not like the dude is a popular guy in Arizona or any part of this country. And if he was to try to take the risk of primarying her in Arizona, and let's say a Democrat beats her, somebody to the left of her, right? Kyrsten Sinema, because that would be the person that would have to beat her, somebody to the left of her in a Democrat primary. What is the chances that Democrat is going to win in a swing state like Arizona, right? Probably does not have that good of a chance of winning in a swing state like Arizona when Biden is one of the most unpopular presidents in recent history. So again, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to delusion. We got one woman here who is convinced that her voting rights are under attack, even though she probably voted. All those people who was marching with her definitely probably voted, right? And then you got another one who believes that Biden can primary these two Democratic senators, right? Who are, basically saying, listen, we want to get rid of the filibuster, right? You think that you can primary them? You think that Biden has any sway over them? Because if he had any sway whatsoever, they would have fell in line by now, right? All the pressure on those two, and they still haven't folded. Why? Because their people, their states, don't want Biden's agenda, right? They don't want Biden's agenda, especially when it comes to West Virginia. And we'll see about Arizona, right? But again, even then, the risk of losing that Democrat seat by primarying Kyrsten Sinema, in my opinion, is too much, right? Biden has no power whatsoever. But again, I just find it fascinating how these people are so obsessed with so-called voting rights when every single last one of these people probably voted, right? It really just shows you how powerful the Democrat brainwashing machine actually is. It's incredible stuff. It's incredible stuff. It should be something that's studied, right, in psychology courses, this level of brainwashing. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.